Avoid that which is not essential, extremely wrong, and extremely unhealthy. Our intentions entrap our souls in another's. It is unnatural. We each have our own place. They don't know that I'm judging them by my own watch. A God that is emotional, not rational, an embodiment. External circumstances, internal circumstances, unity, absence, and corruption, probability, habits, words, prayer. Why did God create prayer? To impart dignity? Or to cause an effect, allowing us to implore? To teach us? Our souls see numbers, in equilibrium, space, activity, time, codes, evolution, the infinite levels of symmetry. Even though words can change the meaning of things, the meaning still remains the same. Eternity, circle of life. Some say that's just a story, but others do believe. A kind of dubious obscurity. No price is too high for immortality. If it weren't dubious, then man would not know their own corruption. If there was no hope, man would not seek salvation. Protector of God's grace. Redemption. When miracles betray hope, and when miracles reward hope, chance then changes our minds. And chance also deprives our minds. We all have an ability to acquire our thoughts. It's not what motivates us, and it's not worth being an exception to the rule. Everyone in this world should be judged strictly but fairly, regardless as to how they may live their lives. Paganism, in its independent and purely natural state. Dreams, wickedness. We all create a God for ourselves, no matter what kind it is. Some people even call themselves God. Those who know God can choose to serve Him forever. Those who don't know God choose not to believe. Fear, hatred, submission, evanescence, possibility. There's many types of people in this world, and they all continue to change. The ones at the top are successful and fortunate because they make the right decisions. It can go both ways with the ones in the middle, because they can either choose to conform to reason. Now the ones at the end usually are unfortunate and foolish, but they can still change if they choose to. All of us have good thoughts and bad thoughts, but it's just a natural thing. We should all take the time to educate ourselves properly in some way, and realize that we all have some sort of goal. It could be a fantasy, but we still have the desire of wanting it to come true. There's many ways we express ourselves. It's sort of like an art, but we all hope it's not rejected, especially from the ones who see it. Whether it fits our beliefs, a personal theory, or if it regards certain subjects. Exclusion of reason, absolute belief in reason. What is the cause of the phenomenon? It could vary from lust and power. Those are one of many sources of our own intentions. Lust would be considered a voluntary intention, and power would be considered an involuntary intention. People even start to rebel against evolution itself. If we're aware of our own mistakes, then we should take that into consideration. It's best to learn from them. If not, we obviously don't want it to stop. Is it really worth it in the end? Everything depends, but that's for us to find out. Probability will provide certainty. We all act by our own will and want to be saved in some way. But for what reason? Why? How? And from who? The epitome of evil. An incarnation. We all lose our way, fallen from grace. People do try to find their place in this world. Some struggle, and some don't. But who will deliver them there? A secure foothold. The strongest and most credible proof is our habits. Habits influence control, and control unintentionally drags the mind with it. We try to make ourselves believe, so the outcome isn't reversed. What's not perfectly good is just an embodiment of it. False teachings, a false God, vagueness, ambiguity, the special enigma, one big mystery, a puzzle, and the pieces are waiting to be put together. We can guide ourselves through many essential things when it regards diversity. That's where the effort comes in. Without proper guidance, we might just lose all hope in God and probably fall down the wrong path. But with it, there can be positivity, the epitome of good. Language. It's a means of communicating with each other, from feelings, ideas, and using signs, sounds, and gestures. We pass judgment through this method all the time. The lecture on God's grace. Miracles are natural phenomenons, and there's many foundations. One of them is internal, and the other is external. Witnesses who don't excuse death go through many stages in their life. Not only do we see things from our own perspective, but we see things from others too, and they may appear the same. The work of God's grace. If God supports nature, then let nature prove this clearly. Nature made all things mutually exclusive. Tyranny, privation, dishonesty, manifestation, stability. Many people want to live happy and peaceful lives, but unfortunately, that's not always possible. If you recognize me and compare yourself to me, what are you comparing? Yourself or me within you? If it's yourself, that's your choice to do so. But again, people may relate that to some form of judging. For centuries and beyond, we've continued to do so in many ways, even prophesizing about his coming. To desire glory and greatness, willing to understand others, having hope and believe, living in shame and disgrace, continuing to hate, and not opening your mind towards others. Truth doesn't inhabit this earth. It wanders all around us. Those who escape it can be considered fortunate, but those who are caught now have to accept the facts, while others just continue to reject it. We as human beings are built in with many senses. Sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. The list goes on and on. Other beings have it too. The ones who don't are unfortunate. It could be from a diagnosis, accident, or a disability. Now, should we consider all these senses gifts, a blessing from God, or power? These should be used to the best of our ability, for as long as we can. We are limited to certain things. Growing up, it's a long cycle in how our body and mind develop through time. We're very fragile from birth. At a young age, we're careless and immature, but that's a casual process. Then we progress as teenagers to adults. Our body is strong. We've matured, but time goes by. And we get old. Our body can get weak, but we can still be wise. Change in general can be unexpected, whether it's good or bad. If two things unite without changing, it'll just be united, but with no changes in the end. We try to find answers to many interesting things in this world, like events that happened in the past, people who existed, and famous items. Opinions and theories come with all that. Inevitability. Are disasters really bound to happen? Or is it just nature taking its course? But I'm sure there's ways to alter certain events. Could it benefit us? Will we learn from it? We're not always right, but when it actually happens, that's when the shit hits the fan. If it's something bad, we're usually very fearful and prepare for what's to come. Negativity, sadness, positivity, happiness. When it's something good, we're joyful, and we hope it lasts for a long time. Our reactions towards the truth can vary. We understand truth not just through reason, but through emotions. All of us have emotions. It's many essential things that lets us understand the world in general, along with ourselves. Without emotions, we wouldn't understand much. We would be totally unaware of what's going on when we're exposed to different situations and how to react to it. Baptism symbolizes atonement. Birth symbolizes the creation of man. Love is not a symbolic rule. No one cannot confirm that he or she should be loved. They must sympathize with both sides. One could be born of love, and the other could be born of contempt. It all depends. Various origins of love. Adam and Eve. Unspoken desires. Seduction. Deception. We should learn to love ourselves. Family, friends, and others too. But know that love conquers all. The all-seeing eye. Control. Severity. Enslavement. No one owns me. I own myself, and I don't own other people. Even if I'm ruled by dictators and living in oppression and cruelty, I will control how everything plays out for myself. It could require sacrifices and responsibilities. I could be told to open Pandora's box, or start a war, and yet know the consequences of my actions. If I choose to do it, be who you want to be. The choice is yours. Secrets, Noah's Ark, Apocalypse, Scientific Laws, Protector of Truth, the Book of Enoch. Did the Nephilim really exist? And were there other horrifying aberrations along with them? Are they one of many reasons why the flood came upon us? Or is it just well-written mythology? Will there be another judgment day? And will I be saved? Extraterrestrials. Who are they? What do they look like? Where are they from? Comprehend. We have limitless questions to ask them, and yet they have limitless questions to ask us. Are they good or bad? When those days come, we'll get our answers that we've long awaited for. But until then, we can evolve and become a better species, for our sake. Free, peace, virtue. These words, God is within you, could make some individuals believe, and also give them a sense of courage. Those who want to maintain God's trust have to understand that God gave prayer to everyone, regardless if they don't believe. Consciousness of purity, faith, circle of trust. There's going to be hardships that come upon us. It may be tough, and the devil could be watching our every move. Are we ready to make a couple deals? You'll be amazed as to what they are, how it sounds, and what it looks like. But for what it's worth, will we regret it? Squalor, antagonism, playing God, destruction. I have a choice to look up in the light sky, or look deep down into the depths of darkness. Life, déjà vu, death. They say all things must come to an end, right? But I guess some people will agree with that. There's infinite things in this world that we do not understand. There's beauty and freedom all around us. By educating ourselves and discovering, we can owe it to those people who taught us how to grow up. They'd wish the best for us. I believe we seek some sort of freedom, no matter how our lives are. A life of freedom, that's what I look for. I just want to be free. Hey everyone, my name is Johnathan Purnell-Joe. I'm an aspiring voice actor. Hopefully later on when I've made a career out of all this, and when my name is officially known to the public, I can work with some charities along the way. I do fandubs on animes, along with script writing, and I enjoy stage acting too, but I've never had any experience in doing that. When I was in high school, my career class was TV and radio. My teacher, Mr. Patricia, educated me in media. He taught me how to use cameras, tripods, microphones, video and audio editing software. I also have a college degree in communications too. I can't say that I was one of his best students, but I can say that I was one who wanted to become successful. This is from Genius Party, and the anime is called Limit Cycle. The story is very sophisticated but very unique in many ways. It talks about very historical and biblical subjects along with other things. Once I could understand what the story was about, then I was interested. As for the character I play, he has no name, so I really didn't think of giving him one. I watched this several times so I could truly understand what was being said. Hideki Futamura and his staff did a great job, and I'm glad to be showing people an English version of Limit Cycle. The biggest challenges with Limit Cycle was making time for it, because in the beginning I was multitasking with other voiceover projects and college. The planning took me about 1 year, and I did some recordings for it at first, but those were just samples. Once I bought a professional microphone, I redid my recordings from start to finish. Overall, I wanted this to sound decent, and I noticed that the character repeated himself several times in the Japanese dub. I really didn't want the viewers and listeners to misunderstand anything, so I added lines. I'm glad that everything turned out well because I didn't want to rush this voiceover project. I'm actually multitasking with other voiceover projects, but most of them are in the planning process. It doesn't take weeks to finish, by the way. It takes months to complete, and making time for them isn't easy either. I wanted to show people that I have talent not only in voice acting, but editing, script writing, and directing. It's a long list, but I'm sure those who have seen my work know, along with those who have participated in my voiceover projects too. I don't know what reactions I'll get from people who haven't seen my work. Whether it's positive or negative, I'm still thankful that they took the time to watch my voiceover projects, and hopefully I'll be able to show them more in the future.